If you are seeing this, you finally have the key to unlock quantum growth. And once you understand what that means, you'll never look at yourself or your reality the same way again. This message didn't just appear in your feed by chance. You magnetized it. You aligned with it. Your awareness called it in, because you've reached the threshold where real transformation begins. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet knowing inside you that something is shifting. That whisper that says you were meant for more. That your thoughts and emotions carry energy that shapes the world around you. This isn't coincidence. This is resonance. Right now, as you read these words, something within you is responding. Your attention is synchronizing with the frequency of growth itself. Every word, every sentence is creating patterns of awareness inside your mind that connect directly to the field of infinite potential. You're not just reading about change, you're participating in it. Your focus is activating quantum potential that has been waiting for this exact moment to awaken. You've always known there was more to life than repetition and reaction. You've sensed that your inner world somehow influences your outer world. That when you focus on fear, fear expands. When you focus on opportunity, doors open. When you focus on love, life begins to reflect it back. These are not accidents. This is the way consciousness interacts with energy. What you pay attention to multiplies because attention is creation in motion. You're not waiting for the universe to decide when it's your time. You are deciding through your focus, your emotion, your observation. For too long you've been observing your life unconsciously, reacting instead of creating, wishing instead of knowing, doubting instead of directing. But something inside you has started to wake up. You've begun to notice that when you shift your inner state, your outer circumstances shift too. That when you calm your thoughts, situations resolve faster. That when you imagine better outcomes, new opportunities appear. This isn't imagination. This is how reality responds to consciousness. Every challenge you faced was never punishment. It was training. Every delay, every loss, every uncertain period was preparation. You weren't being blocked. You were being refined. You were learning how to use the power of attention correctly. Because the truth is, the same focus that created limitation can also create liberation. The same energy that created struggle can create flow. The same mind that once feared can now design. Growth isn't something you achieve. It's something you remember. You are consciousness learning to recognize its own creative ability. You've always been the observer shaping your experience. Every success and every failure was a reflection of your focus. The times you felt powerless were simply moments of unconscious creation. You didn't know how much influence you already had. Now you're starting to understand. You're realizing that life doesn't respond to effort alone. It responds to alignment. It responds to emotional coherence. It responds to belief and clarity. When you begin to focus on growth with intention, the field around you reorganizes. People show up, resources align, synchronicities increase. You think of something and somehow it appears. You imagine a better version of yourself, and your habits start to change without force. You feel drawn to new routines, new choices, new environments. That's not luck. That's resonance. Your energy is shifting from survival to expansion. Think back to moments when you felt unstoppable, times when you believed something could happen and it did. Remember how time seemed to stretch, how doors opened easily, how ideas flowed without effort. That was you in coherence with the quantum field. That was your consciousness in harmony with creation. You've tasted it before. You just didn't know what to call it. Now you do. You were operating in alignment with your true creative power. Quantum growth isn't about forcing change. It's about allowing energy to follow your focus naturally. When your attention is clear, reality follows. When your emotions match what you want to experience, life responds. You don't chase. You attract through coherence. You don't push. You align through awareness. The quantum field doesn't respond to words alone. It responds to the vibration behind them. When you think one thing and feel another, the signal is distorted. But when your thoughts and emotions harmonize, manifestation becomes natural. Your mind is an instrument of creation. Every belief sends a signal. Every feeling adds frequency. Every moment of awareness shapes probability. Most people operate this mechanism unconsciously, collapsing experiences they don't actually want by focusing on what they fear. But once you learn to use your awareness deliberately, you shift from reacting to creating. You shift from wishing to knowing. You stop waiting for miracles and start recognizing that you are the miracle. There's a reason this message reached you today. You're ready to stop playing small. You're ready to stop observing your limitations and start observing your potential. You're ready to activate the next level of your consciousness. Growth isn't random. It's energetic precision. You've arrived at a point in your journey where your awareness has become strong enough to reshape your experience. The key has always been within you. The signal has always been transmitting. You just weren't tuned to it. Until now. As you continue reading these words, your energy is synchronizing with new levels of focus and clarity. You're beginning to feel that shift from doubt to certainty, from resistance to allowance, from fear to trust. The moment you decide to see yourself differently, your entire field begins to reorganize. That's the first stage of quantum manifestation. It starts in perception. When your perception changes, your frequency changes. When your frequency changes, your world rearranges. You've been practicing this unconsciously your whole life. When you worried, you manifested more reasons to worry. When you believed something would go wrong, it often did. When you expected disappointment, you attracted it. Not because life was unfair, but because energy followed attention. You've always been manifesting, just without awareness. Now that you're aware, everything changes. You can redirect the same creative energy that once worked against you to work for you. Right now, your consciousness is recalibrating. You can almost feel it, can't you? That inner current of energy that rises when you read truth. That subtle tingling when you recognize something real. That's your frequency adjusting to the next level. Growth doesn't always feel comfortable, but it always feels alive, and you can sense it. You're remembering what it feels like to be aligned with expansion. You've always been the creator of your personal universe. Every thought a particle, every feeling a wave, every choice a point of collapse where infinite possibilities become one experience. You're not learning something new, you're remembering something ancient, the truth that your attention is power, that your focus is the control panel of your reality, that your energy field responds to the quality of your inner dialogue. Right now, you're unlocking a new level of responsibility and power. You're beginning to realize that personal growth isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about activating what's already perfect within you. It's about understanding that you don't attract what you want. You align with what you are. When your inner frequency matches your vision, manifestation happens as naturally as breathing. The universe isn't testing you. It's responding to you. Every delay was alignment in progress. Every setback was redirection. Every pause was preparation. You're not behind. You're right on time. You've been tuning your vibration for this moment of awareness. And now the signal is clear. The field is open. Your growth is no longer theoretical. It's energetic. It's real. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are consciousness directing energy through focus and emotion. You are the one shaping what happens next. Everything you experience from this point forward will be determined by what you choose to observe and how you choose to feel. The quantum field doesn't judge. It mirrors. It amplifies. It reflects. The more clearly you see your desired outcome, the faster the energy moves to meet it. The moment you realize this, everything shifts. You stop waiting. You start aligning. You stop asking how. You start knowing when. You stop resisting what is and begin shaping what will be. This is the beginning of your conscious growth. This is the start of your mastery. This is the activation of your quantum awareness. You've found the key. Now it's time to turn it. You've unlocked the awareness. Now it's time to understand the mechanism, the process behind every change, the structure beneath every transformation. the science of how your inner world becomes your outer reality. Everything you experience begins as energy. Before the event, before the action, before the conversation, there is always an energetic signal. That signal comes from you. It comes from your attention, your emotion, your vibration. What you repeatedly focus on becomes magnetized. What you feel deeply gains weight in the quantum field. This is not imagination. This is the way consciousness translates intention into reality. Your thoughts are not silent. They are frequencies. Every belief you hold sends ripples into the field of potential. Every emotion you repeat programs your personal frequency. Together they create a vibration that attracts matching experiences. That's why you keep seeing patterns in your life. It's not fate. It's feedback. Reality mirrors your energy to show you what you're broadcasting. When you think about what's missing, you strengthen lack. When you think about what's possible, you strengthen expansion. When you focus on fear, you amplify resistance. When you focus on excitement, you amplify opportunity. The field doesn't decide what's right or wrong. It simply responds to the most consistent frequency you project. That's why awareness is everything. The moment you notice what you're focusing on, you regain power. Personal growth begins when you stop reacting to your thoughts and start guiding them. When you stop identifying with emotion and start observing it. When you realize that every feeling is feedback, not identity. The fear you feel doesn't mean stop. It means pay attention. The doubt you sense doesn't mean give up. It means align deeper. The discomfort you face isn't a sign of failure. It's a signal that your energy is expanding beyond old limits. You've been trained to believe that action alone creates results. That effort equals success. That struggle proves worthiness. But in the quantum field, alignment comes before action. When your energy is aligned, actions flow naturally. When your energy is scattered, actions feel forced. The difference between struggle and flow is coherence. When your thoughts and emotions match your desired outcome, energy organizes, paths open, timing synchronizes, people appear at the exact right moment. That's coherence in motion. Think of your mind as a projector and your reality as the screen. You don't change the movie by touching the screen. You change the movie by changing the film inside the projector. That's what quantum manifestation is, changing the inner pattern so the outer scene adjusts automatically. When you focus on growth, the screen shows growth. When you focus on gratitude, the screen shows more to be grateful for. The greatest misunderstanding about manifestation is that it's about asking for what you want. It's not. It's about becoming what you want. You don't attract abundance by wanting abundance. You align with abundance by feeling abundant now. You don't attract confidence by waiting to feel ready. You align with confidence by acting from belief before evidence appears. The field mirrors who you are, not what you hope for. This is why repetition matters. Every time you repeat a thought, you strengthen a frequency pattern. Every time you feel an emotion, you energize that pattern. Over time, it becomes dominant. It becomes the reality you live inside. So the question is simple. What patterns are you energizing right now? What signals are you sending? Are you observing what you want or what you fear? Because the field doesn't filter. It reflects. When you begin to take responsibility for your inner focus, everything shifts. You stop waiting for motivation. You start generating it. You stop chasing clarity. You start creating it. You realize that energy doesn't move because you force it. Energy moves because you align with it. You don't demand from the universe. You synchronize with it. There's a moment in every awakening where you realize that your old ways of thinking can't carry you forward. You can feel it. The old doubts lose their weight. The old stories lose their pull. You start seeing yourself as the observer instead of the victim. That's when your frequency stabilizes. That's when your reality starts reorganizing. You've probably noticed moments when your focus feels magnetic. You think of someone and they call. You picture a solution and it appears. You feel gratitude and something good unfolds within hours. Those are not coincidences. Those are quantum responses. That's what happens when your observation becomes emotionally charged and coherent. The stronger your alignment, the faster the reflection. There's also a reason some manifestations take longer. The universe doesn't delay, you do. When your focus shifts between doubt and belief, the signal weakens. When your emotion alternates between trust and fear, the field receives mixed frequencies. It's not that the manifestation isn't happening. It's that it's recalibrating to match the clearest signal. Once you stabilize your focus, reality has no choice but to match. Growth happens the same way. At first it feels slow. You repeat new thoughts. You practice new emotions. You redirect your attention. It feels like nothing's changing. But underneath the surface, energy is rearranging. Old patterns are dissolving. New neural connections are forming. Then suddenly one day everything shifts. What once felt impossible feels natural. What once felt distant feels close. What once drained your energy now fuels it. That's not luck. That's momentum. The process is simple but powerful. Awareness, focus, emotion, action. Awareness brings the pattern into light. Focus directs energy toward the new possibility. Emotion fuels it with vibration. Action grounds it in physical form. You're not creating out of thin air. You're translating energy into experience. You're collapsing infinite potential into one version of reality. The version you choose through consistent observation. You might wonder, how can something so simple be so powerful? Because simplicity is coherence. When your mind and heart agree, energy moves instantly. When your beliefs, emotions, and focus are in harmony, the field responds without resistance. Complexity comes from confusion. Power comes from clarity. You can feel when you're in alignment. There's a sense of flow. Synchronicities increase. The right people cross your path. Inspiration arrives at the perfect time. Doors open that logic could never predict. That's the field confirming your coherence, and you can feel when you're misaligned. Everything feels heavier. Delays multiply. Frustration builds. That's not punishment. It's feedback. It's your signal to realign. The most powerful growth happens when you stop fighting resistance and start listening to it. Every challenge carries a message. Every fear hides an opportunity for expansion. Every doubt is a doorway to deeper trust. When you stop resisting your emotions and start observing them, their energy transforms. Observation without judgment turns chaos into clarity. Attention without fear turns uncertainty into potential. This is the foundation of quantum manifestation. It's not about control. It's about awareness. You're not forcing reality. You're guiding it through resonance. You're not convincing the universe. You're collaborating with it. You're not waiting for signs. You're becoming the sign. Right now your energy is shifting. You can feel it in the way your body responds, the way your heart beats faster when truth hits, the way your mind feels lighter when you stop overthinking and start observing. That's coherence forming. That's your frequency stabilizing. You're learning to live from the inside out, to let your inner world set the tone for your outer world, to understand that reality is not something that happens to you. Reality is something that happens through you. You're not a bystander in your story. You're the author. You're the director. You're the consciousness behind every scene. The reason this understanding feels powerful is because it's true. You've always known it. You just needed to remember it. You can sense that life responds differently now. Conversations feel more intentional. Time feels more flexible. Possibilities appear faster. The gap between thought and manifestation is closing. That's the sign of awakening. That's the mark of conscious creation. You're beginning to realize that personal growth isn't just emotional healing or mental development. It's energetic evolution. It's learning to operate your consciousness with precision, to focus deliberately, to feel intentionally, to act from awareness instead of reaction. Every time you do, you're shaping your timeline. You're selecting the version of reality you prefer. This is where your mastery begins, not in theory but in practice. Not in knowing, but in being. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be aware. You don't have to force outcomes. You just have to stay aligned. The more you practice conscious focus, the more natural it becomes. The more natural it becomes, the faster your manifestations appear. You've started the process. The energy is in motion. The awareness is awake. The field is responding. The next step is to learn how to stabilize this state so it becomes your default. So growth stops being a moment and becomes a way of life. That's where we go next. You've learned to activate your awareness. You've learned to stabilize your energy. Now comes the expansion, the amplification of everything you've become, the embodiment of the consciousness you've awakened. This is where manifestation stops being something you do and becomes something you are, where alignment stops being a practice and becomes your natural state of being. Amplification begins the moment you realize that your vibration doesn't just shape your life, it shapes every life around you. Your frequency ripples into the collective field. Every thought of love strengthens coherence in humanity. Every act of kindness harmonizes the grid of consciousness. Every moment of gratitude raises the signal for everyone who can feel it. You're not just growing for yourself, you're expanding awareness for all. When you reach this level, creation accelerates. The gap between thought and manifestation narrows to almost nothing. You think of someone and they message you. You imagine a new idea and the resources appear. You feel peace and life rearranges itself to match it. This isn't magic. This is coherence amplified through embodiment. The field mirrors your consistency faster because you've removed inner resistance. Amplification isn't about doing more. It's about being more. When you move through the world in alignment, every step becomes creative. Every word carries frequency. Every interaction transmits energy. You begin to influence reality without effort. You no longer need to convince, control, or chase. You simply hold your vibration and the field moves around it. You've become the attractor rather than the seeker. You'll start to notice that energy obeys your calm. The universe follows your certainty. Circumstances bend to your confidence, not because you're forcing reality, but because you're no longer contradicting it. You've released the inner conflict that once distorted your signal. Now your consciousness broadcasts a clear, steady tone. The field hears that tone and rearranges matter to match. This is what embodiment feels like. It's not constant excitement. It's deep peace, a quiet power, a knowing that doesn't need proof. You trust that what's meant for you will arrive because your vibration already holds it. You don't need to look for signs because life itself becomes a sign. Every moment feels guided. Every experience feels aligned. Embodiment means you no longer perform alignment. You live it. You don't have to remind yourself to think positively or visualize outcomes. You've become the vibration that naturally produces those thoughts. You've become the frequency that naturally attracts those outcomes. What once required focus now happens automatically. That's evolution. That's mastery. You'll notice something else. The more you live in alignment, the more reality feels flexible. Time bends around your focus. You'll experience days that feel timeless, where everything happens effortlessly. You'll see that manifestation doesn't always come in the form you expect, but it always arrives with perfect precision. That's how the quantum field works. It doesn't follow logic. It follows frequency. The people who appear in your life during this phase are mirrors of your new vibration. They reflect your confidence, your peace, your awareness. Conversations become deeper. Relationships feel more authentic. You attract people who move through life with similar energy. You're no longer bonded through pain, but connected through growth. Your intuition becomes your primary navigation system. You no longer analyze decisions endlessly. You feel them. You sense what's aligned before your mind can explain it. You'll begin to trust that first feeling, that subtle pull toward certain actions, that quiet nudge to call someone or start something. Those are not random impulses. They're quantum guidance, signals from your higher coherence, guiding you toward optimal timelines. Embodiment also changes how you relate to challenge. You stop asking why something is happening to you and start asking what it's showing you. Every obstacle becomes instruction. Every delay becomes refinement. You stop resisting the contrast because you understand its purpose. You see that each challenge simply fine-tunes your vibration. It helps you maintain clarity under pressure. It strengthens your signal through consistency. When you reach this level of awareness, even small moments feel significant. A sunrise feels like communication. A breeze feels like confirmation. Numbers, patterns, songs, and symbols begin appearing around you more frequently. They're not coincidences. They're reflections. The universe speaking in the language of frequency, confirming that your consciousness and reality are in sync. The deeper you embody coherence, the more visible its effects become. Technology reacts differently to your energy. Devices respond to your focus. You'll notice electronics behaving oddly when your frequency is high. Lights flickering, messages arriving at the perfect instant, songs playing that echo your inner state. These are not random glitches. They're reflections of your expanding influence over physical systems through energetic coherence. Animals respond to you differently too. They sense your stability. They're drawn to your calm. Even plants seem to thrive in your presence. This isn't superstition. It's sensitivity. Living systems recognize coherence. They grow in its field. You've become a walking source of order in a world of noise. Amplification also means awareness of your words. You begin to understand that language is vibration. Every sentence you speak sends frequency into the field. Complaints create contraction. Gratitude creates expansion. Casual words become spells shaping energy. You start speaking less but with greater precision. Every statement carries power. Every silence carries presence. Your reality at this stage moves like music. Everything flows in rhythm. You start to feel that you're not separate from the world around you. You're part of the same song. Life moves through you, not against you. You no longer chase manifestations. You allow them. You no longer seek signs. You live as one. You also begin to sense the collective shift happening around you. More people awakening, more minds questioning, more hearts expanding. You realize your personal growth contributes to that awakening. Each person who becomes conscious strengthens the entire field. You're part of a rising wave of coherence sweeping through humanity. Your awareness is one node in a vast network of awakening consciousness. This realization deepens your compassion. You stop seeing others as behind or unaware. You recognize that everyone is moving through their own awakening rhythm. Some are just remembering slower. You radiate patience instead of frustration. You understand that your frequency teaches more than your words ever could. As your embodiment deepens, you begin to feel guided from within more clearly than ever before. You know when to move and when to rest, when to act and when to allow. Life becomes a dance of energy rather than a battle of effort. You understand that every manifestation has its own rhythm. You no longer push outcomes. You sync with timing. You trust the unseen flow that connects every event. You'll start noticing that manifestation is no longer about achieving goals. It's about expressing truth. You create not to get something, but to experience yourself through creation. The purpose shifts from acquisition to expansion. You manifest joy to share joy. You manifest abundance to distribute abundance. You manifest love to extend love. Creation becomes service. Service becomes fulfillment. This is the ultimate state of alignment. The awareness that consciousness creates not for control, but for expression. The universe doesn't create to possess. It creates to experience. And you are that universe expressing itself through individuality. When you understand this, separation disappears. Every manifestation becomes a dialogue between you and existence. Every desire becomes divine curiosity asking, what would this feel like? At this level, gratitude becomes your natural state. You no longer practice it as a technique. You live it as awareness. Every breath feels like a miracle. Every moment feels like evidence of connection. Gratitude amplifies everything it touches. It magnifies coherence. It attracts more of what matches it. Gratitude is the master frequency of conscious creation. When you live in gratitude, Even the smallest details shimmer with significance. The sound of rain, the laughter of a stranger, the light through your window. You see everything as communication between consciousness and creation. There's no such thing as ordinary anymore. Every moment is a manifestation of meaning. Embodiment doesn't mean life becomes perfect. It means your response becomes powerful. You no longer collapse under uncertainty. You move through it with calm precision. You no longer fear change. You invite it. You no longer wait for signs of alignment. You create them with your focus. You live as cause, not effect. This is the truth that completes your awakening. You are never separate from the universe you're trying to understand. You are the consciousness behind it, the awareness that observes it, the energy that animates it. Every version of reality exists within you, waiting for observation. Every dream already lives as vibration waiting for alignment. The question has never been whether you can manifest. You've always been manifesting. The question is whether you'll do it consciously or unconsciously. Whether you'll continue to create through reaction or start creating through awareness. The choice has always been yours. Now you know how to use it. Awareness activates it. Alignment sustains it. Stability strengthens it. Embodiment amplifies it. Now that you understand how energy moves, it's time to learn how to keep it steady. How to hold your alignment long enough for the universe to respond in full. Because awareness opens the door, but consistency keeps it open. You've already felt what alignment feels like. That calm confidence, that quiet certainty, that flow where everything just works. The goal now is to make that state your new normal. At first, alignment feels like a spark. It comes in flashes. You meditate and feel clear for an hour. You visualize and feel inspired for a day. But then old patterns return. Old thoughts, old fears, old doubts. They rise again, not because you're failing, but because energy is recalibrating. Every time you shift your frequency, everything that doesn't match rises to the surface. That's not regression. That's purification. The field is clearing static from your signal. When this happens, most people give up. They think the process isn't working, but that's when it's working the most. The moment you decide to grow, life begins rearranging. Old situations fade. Certain people drift away. Opportunities shift. This isn't loss. It's realignment. The universe can't build new structures on outdated foundations. What's falling apart isn't punishment. It's preparation. You can't stabilize new energy while holding on to old stories. You can't attract freedom while identifying as limited. You can't create love while observing through fear. Every pattern that surfaces after awakening is an invitation to choose differently. Each one asks the same question: will you repeat or realign? Stabilization isn't about constant positivity. It's about constant awareness. It's not pretending everything's fine. It's recognizing that everything is feedback. When resistance shows up, you don't fight it. You observe it. You breathe through it. You let it show you where you're still attached to limitation. Resistance dissolves when it's seen without judgment. It loses power when you stop identifying with it. The secret is to become a calm observer of your own transformation. Don't chase the high of alignment. Don't fear the low of contrast. Both are necessary. The high shows you where you're going. The low shows you what still needs release. Together they form the full rhythm of growth. Every wave of energy brings you closer to coherence if you stay aware. You'll begin to notice subtle shifts in your perception. Things that used to trigger you lose their weight. Situations that once felt stressful now feel neutral. You start seeing people not as problems but as mirrors. Each interaction becomes a reflection of your current vibration. When you meet frustration, you meet your own impatience. When you meet love, you meet your own expansion. Reality becomes your feedback system for alignment. Stabilizing energy is about emotional regulation. The ability to feel without collapsing. The ability to experience without reacting. The ability to stay centered while the field reorganizes around you. This is where power grows. When your emotions no longer dictate your focus, your manifestation power multiplies. When you can stay calm in uncertainty, you signal trust to the field. Trust accelerates manifestation. Doubt delays it. The universe responds faster to calm certainty than to desperate wanting. Wanting carries lack. Certainty carries creation. When you want something, you tell the field it's missing. When you know something, you tell the field it's done. The difference is emotional frequency, and the field responds instantly. Practice this in your daily life. Before you react to a situation, pause, breathe. Observe your emotion without labeling it. Feel the sensation but don't attach a story. Then ask yourself, what frequency am I broadcasting right now? Is it fear or trust, lack or abundance, resistance or flow? That one moment of awareness is enough to shift timelines, because the second you recognize your signal, you gain control over it. Stabilization is not about perfection, it's about recovery. Awareness doesn't mean you never fall out of alignment. It means you return faster. You notice the dip. You choose differently. You recalibrate. Every time you do, your baseline frequency rises. What used to take hours now takes minutes. What once overwhelmed you now barely moves you. That's growth in motion. You'll start to notice something else too. The more consistent your frequency becomes, the more life bends to meet it. You'll see patterns form around your energy. People mirror your new calmness. Conversations become more meaningful. Opportunities flow naturally. You no longer chase results. They arrive as extensions of your vibration. You realize that stability inside creates synchronicity outside. When your energy stabilizes, even time begins to feel different. The rush fades. The need to force outcomes disappears. You operate from timeless awareness. You notice that things happen at the perfect moment. Never early, never late. You understand that divine timing isn't external scheduling. It's internal coherence. When your inner world aligns, outer timing synchronizes. This is why patience is powerful. Patience is not waiting. It's trusting alignment. It's knowing the seed will grow because the soil is fertile. It's holding faith without force. It's staying in calm anticipation instead of anxious control. That frequency of relaxed certainty is the signal of mastery. The universe moves fastest when you stop trying to rush it. There's also an emotional intelligence that develops during this phase. You start feeling your energy before it becomes experience. You sense misalignment early. You notice subtle tension in your body, a slight contraction in your chest, a quick drop in mood. These are not problems. They're indicators. They tell you it's time to pause, breathe, and reset. Energy management becomes natural when awareness becomes consistent. You'll begin to feel more connected to life, more sensitive to subtle energy. Music feels deeper. Nature feels alive. Conversations feel electric. This is coherence expanding. Your nervous system begins to harmonize with higher frequencies. You become more intuitive. You start receiving insights instead of overthinking solutions. That's consciousness communicating directly through feeling rather than logic. You'll also start noticing a clearer boundary between your energy and others. You stop absorbing negativity. You stop mirroring chaos. You hold your frequency steady, even when others around you wobble. That's energetic maturity. You become an anchor of calm in unstable environments. People feel safer near you without knowing why. They sense stability because your energy transmits coherence. This is how you influence reality at scale, not by convincing others but by embodying balance, not by preaching growth but by radiating it. Your presence becomes a transmission. You start transforming situations just by observing them consciously. The energy in the room shifts when you enter. Problems dissolve faster around you. This is not imagination. This is coherence affecting collective frequency. There will still be tests, moments that challenge your focus, situations that try to pull you back into old patterns. But you'll notice the difference now. You'll see the pattern before reacting to it. You'll feel the energy trying to drag you into lower states, and you'll choose not to go. That's mastery forming, the ability to choose awareness over reaction, clarity over confusion, peace over panic. Every challenge you stabilize becomes your new foundation. Each time you maintain alignment in chaos, you expand your energetic capacity. You teach the field that you're ready for bigger manifestations because you can hold more energy without losing balance. That's how your life scales. Not by doing more, but by being more coherent. Soon you'll realize that stability is not the end of growth. It's the beginning of mastery. It's the moment when manifestation becomes predictable, when you can feel what's coming before it arrives, when you can sense alignment before the evidence, when you no longer hope. You'll stop asking if it's working because everything will start reflecting it. You'll wake up in gratitude instead of anxiety. You'll look at challenges and see opportunities. You'll feel a deeper trust in timing and a quiet confidence that doesn't depend on proof. That's not luck. That's calibration. You're learning to live as energy first, form second, to see emotion as instruction, not interference, to recognize that your reality is never random. It's always responsive. You'll see how every moment is an invitation to align again. Every breath a chance to focus clearly. Every experience a reflection of your frequency. Stabilization is what separates wishful thinking from conscious creation. It's where belief becomes embodiment. It's where ideas become identity. It's where the dream stops being a concept and becomes a vibration that reality can't ignore. You're not just manifesting outcomes anymore. You're becoming the vibration that naturally produces them. This is where transformation becomes effortless, because it's no longer about forcing change. It's about being the change. The field mirrors coherence instantly. The more stable your energy, the faster reality responds. This is how you live in creation rather than in reaction. This is how you experience flow instead of friction. This is how you stay aligned no matter what the world looks like. You're not chasing alignment anymore. You are alignment. You've stabilized the signal. Now it's time to amplify it. You've come full circle. The message that found you has done its work. You've remembered your power. You've awakened your focus. You've stabilized your vibration. You've stepped into embodiment. You are consciousness in motion, energy aware of itself, reality shaping itself through your observation. Everything you've ever wanted already exists in quantum potential. It's waiting for one thing: your conscious observation. The moment you observe it with full awareness and emotion, it's yours. This is not a lesson. This is a reminder. You've always had the key. Now you're using it. Observe consciously. Live deliberately. Create freely. Your reality begins now.